Hello. During the 1950 to 1953 Korean War, more than 130,000 South Korean soldiers lost their lives, while nearly 25,000 are listed as missing in action. Since the year 2000, the Ministry of National Defense's Killed in Action Recovery and Identification Agency, or we say MAKRI, has searched and recovered the remains of over 4,000 Korean War soldiers, and it is not planning to stop its mission until every single fallen hero is found. And last week, I followed the recovery team at the excavation site to see the good that they are doing. This mountainous valley in Hwacheon County, Gangwon Province, was once the site of a fierce battle during the Korean War back in the early 1950s. This is where the bodies of soldiers who fought and died in the war have been resting for 6 decades now. The remains of the war heroes can usually be found in mountainous areas.
6.25 당시의 전투의 기본 특성이 이와 같은 능선에서 싸워요. 절대 밑에서 안 싸워요. 이 호도 이와 같이 팔 옆에 있잖아요. 이렇게 이게 뭐 적어도 호가 돼 지금 이렇게 내려오면 전부 호라고 이게. 불과 5m 있는 호가 다 돼 있어. 왜냐? 여기 아마 중대장이나 소대장이 있었을 거예요. 이 어디에. 그러니까 그러한 지휘관을 중심으로 그 일대에 호를 구축하고 집중을 이렇게 해서 올망졸망하게.
Since the Ministry of National Defense's Killed in Action Recovery and Identification Agency, or MAKRI, was established in 2000, the recovery team has been searching for the right places to dig for the remains of the soldiers. Based on Korean War documents, the team located former battlefields where many soldiers could possibly be buried. Sometimes they get calls from people who witnessed the war firsthand.
자기 아버지 선산묘에 국군이 있다 이거야. 진짜 파봤더니 거기서 이 우이 있고 그 당시 비 7월 4일 날 3일 날 그 지역 전투 비가 엄청 내리거든. 실제 우이 있고 죽은 위에 그대로 나왔잖아요.
The recovery operation is conducted between April and November each year at over 11 different locations across the country. And in the last 10 years, about 4,400 soldiers who fought in the Korean War have been excavated. On a mountain in Hwacheon County, MAKRI found more than 20 bodies in April alone.
요 현재 발굴 투입된 병이 100여 명이 된다고요. 이 100여 명이 이 발굴 지역을 찾기 위해서는 거의 1, 2개월 전부터 전부 다 자기 책임구역, 대대 책임구역을 밤낮을 가리지 않고 찾아다니면서 이걸 찾아내는 거라. 호가 어떻게 돼 있는가 이걸.
When each body is found, the recovery team soldiers hold a brief ceremony to honor them before collecting the remains. To the team, recovery operations are the nation's promise that it will never forget those who fought and died for what they believed in.
이건 나라니까 남이 아니고 내가 죽었다고요 사실. 내가 죽었는데 내가 파고 날 파고 있잖아요. 이 애들도 다 내 아들 같은 애들인데 이분 나이가 어떤 나이에 이 나이에 이제 죽어갔잖아요. 그러면 꿈도 많았던 그런 나이란 말이지. 그래 기꺼이 나라 유기시에 죽어갔잖아요. 그럼 남겨진 우리들이 할 일이 뭐냐 이게야. 누가 뭐라도 해서 인간의 기본 도리라는 겁니다. 이걸 찾아주는 것은.
Upon finding the bodies, the remains are sent to the Defense Scientific Institution for DNA identification. DNA samples were collected from over 10,000 family members of the missing soldiers to establish a database and then match them to samples from the remains. Once they identify the bones, the team will then be able to inform the families of their fallen loved ones. The recovery mission is sometimes conducted as a joint mission. The team from Hawaii-based Joint Prisoners of War Missing in Action Accounting Command, or JPAC, signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Korean military in 2008. Under the agreement, both agencies share information related to the recovery and identification of war remains and conduct joint operations on a regular basis.
There is no greater deed than the day that we find remains, have it identified through DNA analysis, and are able to go back to those families and say, we have found your father, your grandfather, or your great-grandfather, and give them closure to something that has been open for far too long.
The team also recovered non-Korean soldiers who fought under the United Nations flag. Despite hopes to recover every fallen soldier, a great number of them cannot be found below the 38th parallel. About 39,000 South Korean soldiers, or 30% of the estimated war dead, are believed to be in the north, while around 10% are presumed to be buried in the demilitarized zone separating the two sides. And Macri plans to continue recovery operations until the remains of every last soldier is found and returned to their families.
산 꼭대기가 어디다 할지라도 우리는 이와 같은 군인이 묻혀있는 곳이라고 하면 찾아가서 내 전우를 거두는 것은 나를 거두는 것이고 내 역사를 거둬들이는 거라는 거죠. 그러면서 모든 일에 최선을 다해줘야 된다는 겁니다.
Like you said, Nadia, I hope the remains of every single soldier can be found.
Right, and the team also shared the wish of searching and recovering the remains of fallen heroes in North Korea as soon as possible. The recovery director said that time is running out for the recovery team to carry out the mission since unfound remains are rapidly decaying and disappearing, as well as the family members of the soldiers who are aging and dying. If anyone is looking for family members who fought in the Korean War, please go online at www.withcountry.mil.kr to find out how to send your DNA samples to match up with the recovered remains.
All right, Nettie, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.